Hello folks, welcome to another day with Mr. Flores in the art classroom. Today we are learning 9 different techniques for using chalk pastels. So this is a chalk pastel. They're also called soft pastels. I even heard them being called dry pastels. All right, they are similar to like the sidewalk chalk, but they're a little bit more compressed and compact. They do get messy. They do create dust. Just make sure to have your handy dandy rag with you so you can just simply clean your hands. And you can just simply wash your hands at the end of this. With chalk pastels, they do get dusty with chalk, but we never blow our paper as far as getting the dust everywhere. It will get in your eyes, it will get in someone else's paperwork. So what you want to do is just simply pick it up, and there's going to be a spot to put your dust, and just simply turn it over and shake it, and then you can have that chalk dust fall into that place where I needed it to go. All right, let's go ahead and start with the first one. This one is called blending. You guys are familiar with blending. It's just get your pastel. Some of you guys will have pastels broken in half, and that's perfectly fine. So we go ahead and just do a little bit of pressure. You'll notice there's a lot of dust coming off of that. So just don't put too much dust. You can get any color you like. I'm just using light blue and purple. But like I said, get your favorite colors and just get 2 of them. Notice how I'm just putting just a little bit of pressure and how much dust comes off of that. I'm only going to get 1 finger, not all 5 fingers. Just going to get 1 finger and simply get my finger and blend those together and go back and forth. Notice the dust coming off. You can go ahead and grab that dust and pull it back, and you can use it more. Now notice how it also got a little bit dull. So to make it less dull, we're going to put more and grab my, and we're going just to blend that some more. It's all about layering to see what works, how light you want it. Sometimes putting more pressure doesn't really make it better because it just makes more dust. So sometimes just more layers make it better as far as the color you want it. All right, let's move on to the next one. And let me go ahead and zoom in for you. So with little strokes, this is good for making grass, making like fur on an animal. So let's go ahead and get our dark green. And again, you can get whatever color you want. And these are just little strokes. It's almost like pointillism. So we're making our little strokes. I'm just putting a little bit of pressure using the corner of my pastel. So again, we're just making little strokes, and I'm going to get my green. Don't worry if your hands are dirty. You're going to be grabbing these, and again, you can always clean them with the rag. And go ahead and we're going to mix those little strokes of color together. And sometimes we can get other colors like purple and blue. And we can also get maybe blue and red, and we can also make a purple. You can also get white. You know what? I'm going to get yellow. And see how that looks like grass. It might look like an inside of a flower, like the pollen. So these are called little strokes, where you just let the pastel do the color mixing for you. All right, let's move on to the next one. The next one is called hatching and cross hatching. So this one you guys are familiar with. This one's good for making shadows. This one's when you get the edge of your pastel and just make hatching lines, which are the parallel lines. All right. And with the cross hatching is when you make those X's, those tic-tac-toe marks. And then you can also get another color and cross hatch that. But usually there's no blending when you're doing hatching and cross hatching. This is just a type of drawing. Maybe you're making a certain type of fabric or linen, or you just need those few strokes of lines in there. All right, the next one is pointillism. So with pointillism, it is just making little small dots. This one is good for maybe making like little stars in the sky. This is where you get the point of your pastel and just put little bits of pressure and little points. Little dots. Sometimes you need those little dots in your flower, maybe those little pollen marks. Sometimes you need those little stars in the sky. And you're going to probably get, maybe you'll have like a black background and you're putting little white stars, maybe like fireworks. And again, this is just small little dots. And sometimes you twist your pastel to make sure that color goes on there. Now with pointillism, you don't blend, you're just making those little dots. That one's pretty easy. All right, let's go to the next one, which is called side drawing. This is where you get your pastel, you put it on its side, and you do just put a layer like that. And you'll notice how much color comes off of that, all right? And you'll notice if you wanna experiment with that, maybe put a little bit more pressure and see how dark that got. If we do a light pressure, all right? Now I'm gonna do a light pressure on this one, and then let's put a layer on top of that one. Maybe let's put blue. Maybe I'll put blue the opposite direction and see how that kind of turned that little dark purple. All right, and you can go and experiment that. What happens if I put it vertical? You can see what types of goes on. So you can do some layering with this one. And again, this one's called side drawing because you're just putting your pastel on its side and drawing with it. All right, and normally there is no blending with it. This is good for backgrounds. Just putting a first layer on your background and seeing what happens. All right, guys, the next one is called layered side drawing. All right. Now with layered side drawing, it's just sort of similar to what I just did right here with side drawing. This one, like I said, you add those layers on there and you add those layers of different colors. You can tell with the amount of pressure, how much pressure do I do? This is good for just experimenting for right now. Do I put layers sideways, cross? You know, how many colors can I add to make those cool layers? Again, if you have any dust, you simply pick up your paper and then put it into the bin so that way all the dust can go somewhere else besides on someone else's paper. All right, the next one is called twist. This one is pretty cool. This is where you get your pastel on its side and you simply twist it. So let me go ahead and break this one in half. And you go ahead and twist it to see what kind of marks you can make. That can make the cool little bow tie. Maybe they look like little watermelons. So let's get another color. Let's get this nice blue. And this is where you just, again, you just twist it and see what happens. You can also twist it to make like these cool ribbon effects. So what happens when you twist your pastel? See what happens. If you want to see what else happens with that one, maybe you can use the side of your sketchbook to make some more designs. All right, guys. The next one is feathering. Feathering is just quick and fast. And when we use those quick, fast marks, it's kind of like using the grass again, but this time we're making them longer instead of those little strokes. So it's called feathering. So it's making those quick, fast marks. And you can put layers on top of each other and see how that looks like little like long blades of grass like in the background. Maybe they can be a palm tree. So let me maybe I can get my brown and just do like a layer of brown and then just put some palm leaves off to the side. And then I'll get my dark green. See how cool that is? That layering effect. And this is called feathering. All right, guys, the last one is drawing. So this is when it's kind of just experimenting, see what happens when you just make lines. So almost like when we did hatching and cross hatching. So we make lines, just kind of like turn your pastel, kind of like twisting it, but only using the corner of it. So what lines can you make when you do these sort of like, sort of looks like ribbons, sort of looks like twinkled, sort of like water designs. What kind of lines can you make? Can you make those into like little vines? Are they like maybe like little leaves coming off of a vine like I was saying? So what drawings can you make with just lines of twisting and turning your pastel? All right, folks, can't wait to see how they all come out. Again, these are our 9 different techniques for using chalk pastels. They're called soft pastels. Can't wait to see how they all come out.